They didn't argue when they told me. That was the part I noticed first. No hesitation, no buildup. Just a quiet, almost administrative tone, like they were updating me on something already filed and approved. My mom spoke most of it. My dad sat beside her, nodding at the right moments, stepping in only to reinforce the conclusion. It's time to transition things, she said. Your sister needs stability. She has a family now. I remember watching her hands instead of her face. She kept smoothing the edge of the tablecloth over and over, like she didn't want to look at what she was saying either. I asked one question, just one. And me? My dad answered that. You'll stay on, he said. Of course, you know everything. You'll help her run it. Not run it. Help her run it. There was a pause after that, the kind where they expect resistance or confusion or some negotiation to begin. Instead, I nodded. I even smiled a little, I think. That makes sense, I said. It didn't. But I could feel something in me already stepping back, like a door quietly closing somewhere I couldn't see yet. No one raised their voice. No one had to. The strange thing about leaving wasn't the leaving. It was how little there was to take with me. For 13 years, I had thought of the business as something alive, something I built piece by piece, decision by decision. But once they said it belonged to someone else, it shifted, not gone, just no longer mine. I didn't fight it. I didn't even feel the urge to. I stayed for a few days after, wrapped things up, answered questions, explained systems, introduced my sister to people who already looked at her like she didn't belong there. She tried to act confident. I could see the strain in it. I didn't correct her. I didn't undermine her either. I just filled in the gaps. Like I always had, on my last day, there was no announcement, no goodbye speech. I cleared my desk, handed over access, and walked out the same way I'd walked in thousands of times before. No one stopped me. That part stayed with me longer than I expected. At home, there wasn't a collapse, no anger, no late-night pacing, no speeches I wished I'd given. Just quiet. I made coffee the next morning and didn't check my phone. That alone felt unfamiliar. For a while, I kept expecting the feeling to hit me, some delayed reaction. But it didn't come in the way people describe. It came in smaller things. Like realizing I didn't need to justify my time to anyone, or noticing how often I'd been waiting for approval, for acknowledgement, for someone to say this is yours. I stopped waiting, not as a decision, more like a habit I forgot to continue. The new work started slowly, nothing impressive. No big announcement. Just a few contacts, a few small projects, things I knew I could do well without needing anyone's permission. It felt cleaner, not easier, just clearer. If something worked, it was because I built it. If it didn't, it was mine to fix. No one reframed it. No one reassigned it. For the first time in a long time, effort and outcome belonged to the same person. I didn't ask about the business. People told me anyway, not directly. Just fragments, a supplier issue that took too long to resolve, a client who didn't renew, staff turnover that didn't quite make sense. I didn't connect the dots. I didn't want to. It wasn't mine anymore. That thought came easier each time. 5 months passed without anything significant. Then my phone rang, my mom's name. I let it ring once longer than usual before answering. Her voice was softer, not weak, just less certain. How are you? She asked. It sounded like a real question. Not a formality. I'm fine, I said. There was a pause, not uncomfortable, just unfamiliar. Then she said, things have been difficult. I didn't respond right away, not out of resistance. I just didn't know what role I was supposed to play in that sentence anymore. She filled the silence. Your sister is trying. It's just a lot. I'm sure it is, I said. Another pause. Then, more directly, we might need your help. The shift didn't fully register until a week later. It wasn't another call. It was an email from one of our biggest former partners, someone who had been with the business for years. Someone I had worked with closely. He didn't write to my parents, he wrote to me. He didn't mention loyalty or history. He didn't talk about what had happened. He just said he was stepping back from working with them. And then, almost as an afterthought, if you're building something new, I'd rather work with you directly. That was it, no emotion, just a decision clear. Final, and suddenly, everything that had felt abstract wasn't anymore. When my parents reached out again, the tone had changed, less explanation, more request. We didn't realize how much you were handling, my dad said. It wasn't an apology. But it was the closest thing to acknowledgement I'd heard. We'd like you to come back, my mom added. We can figure out a better structure. A better structure. I let that sit for a moment, not because I was considering it, just to understand what they meant. They weren't offering to undo anything. They were asking me to stabilize what was already slipping. I'm glad you called, I said. And I meant it. There was no anger in it, no edge, just clarity. I'm not coming back. Silence on the other end. Not shocked, just unprepared. We can make this right, my dad said, quieter now. I thought about that. Not what they were offering, but what right meant now. It's already right, I said, just not in the way you expected. I could hear my mom breathing, like she wanted to say something else, but couldn't find the words, so I gave her something simpler. I hope it works out, I said, and I meant that too. After the call, I didn't feel relief or victory, just a kind of alignment, like something that had been slightly off for years had finally settled into place. I didn't take anything back. I didn't need to. The part that mattered, the part that built, that held things together, that understood how everything worked. It hadn't stayed there. It left when I did, and I didn't look back to check if they noticed.